Welcome everyone to our session on vibe coding your GTM workflows with Claude. I'll talk about this a little later, but this is really an educational webinar series. We're here to educate, teach you how to leverage Claude for your go-to-market workflows. I'll jump into it here just with the agenda. Probably I should say this is a hands-on. This is a continuing series. It's hands-on. Our goal, as I'll talk about a little later, is to give you an overview and competency in using Claude for your GTM environment. So we're going to do an introduction and an overview. We're going to walk through. Mike Ball, our CTO, is going to walk through some prerequisite setup, and he'll actually walk through a real example of something he's built that I think you'll find useful. So let me jump into this. First, as I mentioned, it's an educational webinar series. So we're going to have a bunch of these. We're committed to doing at least 4. And our goal is to help you unlock the power of using Claude for your go-to-market workflows and motions. If you've signed up, you're going to get an email where you can sort of join the next webinar. So our goal here is really for you to be what we would say real world knowledgeable and competent with using Claude Code, Claude Cowork for RevOps and your go-to-market. When we say that, part of it is, there are a lot of videos out there on using Claude, but a lot of them are really trivial examples. What we hope to do is sort of equip you with the knowledge that's actually applicable for a go-to-market organization. And then, oh yeah, I should say this is not about pushing our product. So obviously, some of you know Tiga, some of your customers, some of you may have run across us just randomly. This is not a product. We're not pushing product on you. We're not going to be talking a lot about our own product per se, but our examples will involve the use of Tiga with Claude, and Mike will explain more how that's done. But it's because Tiga works with Claude. We have MCP servers to support that. And then we really encourage you to join the Slack channel. Please join our Slack channel because every session will be recorded, will be posted in the Slack channel. We'll also be providing additional content. And it's just a place where if you want to ask questions about using Claude for go-to-market, use cases that you're thinking of, that's a way that you can just interact with us, and we're always happy to help. And then finally, tell us what you'd like to see in future sessions as you go through this, and then tell others if you find this helpful. We obviously would love to see this grow. So with that said, I want to introduce our speaker, our presenter today, Mike Ball, our CTO, is going to walk through the rest of this presentation. He's actually going to get into the code as well. So
we're going to show you a little app that we made today, and I'll show that to you in a second. We'll start with a demo of it. But it's one particular use case. When you want to solve any go-to-market problem with Claude, there's a couple of component pieces that you're going to need. You're going to need access to your tech stack, right? You're going to need some skills, and then you're going to need an AI agent. And I just want to say at the front of this, there are many combinations for this formula to work. There are many problems for which you can apply this formula. We're going to show you one today. And in the future, like Andre said, we're going to show you some more. But I hope to help you guys see that this is a formula. You can apply it in a bunch of different ways with a bunch of different tool chains and get success. So we're gonna do the formula applied. We're gonna do a CRM cleanup tool, right? Maybe you don't have this problem, maybe you do. CRM data gets messy. Names aren't normalized. You got duplicate stuff all over the place. Let's put up an app to solve this problem for us. So let's take a look at it. Right, it's available right now, so you can actually go to GitHub, and you can close this. you can see this is the CRM cleanup tool. You can go and download it. The links are all in the Slack channel if you guys want, but I'll just demo it for you real quick. So we're going to come over to Claude. So today I'm using Claude to do this. And I'm going to go back to the previous session where I actually built this, and I'm going to use this menu, the preview menu up here. So I'm in Claude app. There's these different modes, but we're going to go to code mode. That's the most powerful. And we're going to go to this preview menu, and there's our little cleanup tool that I ran. I have a little Salesforce instance here that just has there's some duplicate accounts in here. Like I have Access American Association twice and Accenture twice, and it's like any CRM, it gets a little messy. I want to clean it up. I want better names. I want names that I can field merge, and I want to deduplicate it. So that's what this tool does. So it connects to the instance, and we're connecting with some APIs that we're using via Tiga. And then I have some functions down here. I can scan the accounts just by clicking scan, and it's going to scan through them. It takes a second. And this is the application just like running right here on my computer. And just wait a second for it to run. And it starts to say, hey, here's how I'll clean these names going through one by one. I can accept them. I can hit this checkbox, and I can apply the selection. So the way that this is built is it's not destructive. It's giving me a chance to make a decision if I want to change it, if I don't, and then I can obviously undo it if I don't like the change. Similarly, for the deduplication function, I can scan for duplicate accounts, and then I can merge them. So, okay, so let's get into what we're going to need to make this. So we used, Tiga, some skills, which I'm going to show you how to set up here in a second, and Claude. So yes, we did use Tiga. Do you really need Tiga? And the honest answer to this question is no, you don't. How are we using Tiga for this today? We're using it for some access control. Tiga is providing gateway access to all the different APIs that we need in order to interact with all these services. You could certainly have Claude do this without that, and it would totally work. But it just simplifies it to do it this way. It also provides some high-level function to simplify some of the functionality of this little application. And we're going to use some skills. So that's kind of why we're doing it this way. In order to get going, you're going to need Claude. So you can see I've got the Claude app here. You could just as easy, it's still loading the accounts through, by the way. You could just as easily do this with like Claude in a terminal, like this. You could use this version if you wanted to. So maybe some of you already have, and that's fine. Just so that you understand what I'm showing you here with the sort of Claude desktop application. It's the same exact thing. It's just a different interface. So I chose this interface because I thought that it might be more helpful than to folks that haven't ever used a command line before. You don't have to use a command line. You just get this simple interface here. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop this little application because we're actually gonna get going with running something else. And so you're gonna need this application. We have a Tiga account, so we've got that. For this project, we're going to use a programming language. I chose the Go programming language. You could choose whatever programming language you want. I told it to use the Go programming language. This is what I like for several reasons. Less dependence on third-party code. It's less prone to bugs. You can choose whatever you like. And then we need to install a skill. So you can do this a couple of ways. I've got instructions in here on installing them. But what you do, and skills are really important when you use these kinds of tools. So I'm up here. You can see here's chat, here's cowork, and here's code. And then I'm going to go down to customize, and I can load in. I can add stuff, and I can add a plugin, add a marketplace, or I can just kind of, and that's what I'm going to do. So and the instructions for this are all in the slide. So I'm going to go to our plugin marketplace, which is right here. Copy this URL. I'm going to paste it. I've already done this, so it may tell me, oh, I already have this one. And then if I go to code, yep, there's the Tiga GTM marketplace, and I've already installed it. But if I hadn't, you'd see the plus sign like this. But there's lots of skills within the Claude, ecosystem, and there's lots of marketplaces that you can load skills in. And so if there's a particular problem that you're working on solving, I would encourage you to look for skills that can help and see how they can help. I've personally found skills like the superpower skills to work well, but these superpower skills, I like these. But and then obviously the Tiga skills, I'm a big fan of those. Shameless plug. But that's how you get them installed. And that's an important step because that makes, you have to do a lot less prompting and a lot less answering of questions with Claude when you have the right skills installed. Okay, so we've got our skills and I showed you how to install them. So now let's actually, build this little application. You saw the quick demo earlier, but I'm gonna actually build it. And we want to build a tool that scans all of our accounts in the CRM and cleans the names, right? And so this is the prompt that we're going to use. So I'm just going to copy this. Okay. I'm going to go over to Claude, close the customize window. I'm going to go start a new session. And the first thing I'm going to do, just make this a little bit, down here in the bottom, I'm going to turn on plan mode. This is really important. When you're going to do a big project like this with Claude, turn on plan mode first. You will get way better results. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to turn on plan mode, and then I'm going to load in the CRM bulk operations plugin manually. I don't have to do that. It might pick that up on its own. But when I do that, it tells it explicitly, hey, use this skill that we've got loaded up to actually, to do this prompt. So it loads that skill in as it's working on this plan. And I just said, hey, let's build a CRM cleaning tool. I tell it explicitly I want to start in a new directory because I already have one version of it, so I need to have a new version. I tell it our CRM is Salesforce. I say access it with Tiga. I tell it, this is important. Allow me to enter my Tiga API key in the UI of the application. This is important because you don't really want to put your AI credentials right into this text box here. If I were to do that, they would go off to some server somewhere and get processed in some. I don't want that, right? So I want to keep those secret from anyone else. So I'll put them into this tool when I'm done, when it's done building it for me. And then I say, hey, let me run it. This line is because I have a custom Tiga instance that I'm using for this, and then I tell it what the tool should be able to do: clean the names of the accounts in the CRM, and then deduplicate the accounts. And then I say, hey, do some research on deduping and come up with some options for me. And so I can kick that off, and it'll start to work on the plan. And the plan can take a few minutes, so I went ahead and ran the plan ahead of time. And it came up with a plan for me. And this is what it looks like when it's finished. So I'm jumping ahead here. I already put one in the oven. We're going to pull it out of the oven and run this plan. But really, it did some research. It came up with a plan of how it's going to build this thing. I'm kind of looking through it. It looks pretty good. It's going to use some interesting stuff to normalize the names and to find the duplicate accounts, which sounds great. So I'm going to say this sounds great. Let's go ahead and build it. And it's going to start building. And at this point, it can take some time. You have to wait for Claude to to build this stuff. And it may ask you questions like, hey, can I do this stuff? Yeah, sure. We'll allow this. The scaffold and get going with this. Yeah, and it wants to create a launch.json. That's the little file so that it has its nice little menu here for us. And so it's building this thing out. And this can take some time. One pro tip is that you can connect this session to your phone so that if you want to walk your dog or go pick up your kids from school while you keep an eye on your little agent this working on your go-to-market plan, you can do that. But that's just another tip for you.
Any questions from Mike while we're watching
Yeah,
this
while we
thing
while we
process
wait while we
slowly?
wait for the Anthropic servers to grind on these
Yeah.
tokens.
Any questions?
Have you guys done, I don't know if you talked about it earlier, this is Mel, sorry for joining late. Have you done the a Slack integration?
Yeah, you can do a Slack integration with this if you'd like to talk to it there. If that's what you want to do, you can totally do that. But yeah, it's possible.
That's what we've been doing.
And how are you guys using that? Just to interact, or is it to query
We
commands?
have, yeah, we've got Slack tied to OpenClaw, tied to Claude.
Mm-hmm,
And then
mm-hmm.
we run separate functional channals. So I have like a marketing channel, a sales channel, an information security channel, and each agent has the ability to talk to the other agents through shared notes. And then we've got it tied to Vercel. We got tied to our entire infrastructure at this point. It can blow everything up if it wants.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you seem like you're pretty deep into this. Would love to, and by the way, thanks for sharing because we'd love to actually learn how. Part of the reason we do this, we like to learn how other people are leveraging Claude, OpenClaw. So
We've got it.
love to follow up with you on that later.
I need to do the straight demo with you guys because I'm trying to figure out how to tie in our SDR activity.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to
Yeah.
see your
Maybe we
product.
can follow up and have a chat about that.
100%. Yeah. We've got
Mike,
tied. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to ask, Mike, is your cleanup app actually making the changes now, or is it pooling a set of changes that then you can walk through and approve, reject, approve, reject?
Yeah, it's building it now. So we're going to see what it builds. Every time you do this, you get something slightly different. And that's actually part of the fun of this. Is a great question. Sometimes you have to tell it, hey, this isn't working here. Change this, change that. And so that's part of the journey. It's part of why I want to do this live with you guys, so that you can see that's you have to work with it. It's a little, you kind of shuck and jive a little bit what it does. Not always exactly what you want, so you just tweak it here and there, and yeah.
Got it. Okay, thanks.
I think they dropped a new model today, Opus 4.7. So it's like everyone's trying to use it today. It's a little slower than usual. That's another tip I would say to folks. In terms of the models here, I like, for these kinds of problems, I like using the larger models. Some you can get away with the Sonnet model, but I think for harder problems, I would definitely use the Opus model. Okay, finally, we're building a UI. Excellent. So it's giving us a preview. This is just a preview. Looks about right. It's building the preview. Can I show?
Like when you're testing different models, obviously you're looking for latency and impact, but do you care about cost, token cost? Because there's prices and the token cost difference, but I've never paid attention because they're so small.
Yeah, yeah. No, there are differences in the token cost. You can it really depends on the use case.
Yeah.
For use case like this, um I am having it. Oh, it wants to test, but I'm going to plug it in. It doesn't like. Let me just get my. It's ready. Looks like it built the app. Sorry. Let me answer the question and then I'll
Okay.
I'll get this. So the answer is it does matter for certain use cases. If you're going to be extremely token heavy, you want to be careful about which model you're using, and you can right size the model to the problem space. If you're doing a very simple classification problem, you don't need a big heavy model. In this case, we're building a little application, and so using one of the frontier models makes a lot of sense in this case. But the idea here is that we're going to spend all this, all these tokens up front, and then we're going to have a tool that we can use and reuse over and over again to do this kind of work. So,
Yes.
all right. So let me plug in my credentials, and because we need this API key to make this work, and we need my Tiga instance, which I am running here. This is a dev Tiga instance, which is what I'm showing to you. So you can validate. Yep, it worked. Let's scan for duplicates. Boom. Found 9 duplicates. What's it gonna do? Okay, so dedupe logic, it's gonna use a Jaro Winkler, which is a kind of an algorithm, and it's also gonna check on the actual address that we have. It's gonna use domain normalization and to help find the right duplicate accounts. It's great. What I want to do though is this is great, but I think all this is going to do is flag them as duplicates. And I'd actually like to. This is actually important as well. You can actually see the log data, the session log for this application. So when I'm running it, let's say I hit scan names, you can see it's making API calls. It's to the various APIs to make all this happen. This stuff right here isn't costing me any tokens at all once I actually have the application built, which is great. But this application is great, but I kind of want to make a little bit of a change to it. I think instead of just flagging the duplicates, I'd actually like to actually have it merge duplicates. So let's ask for that change. Hey, can you change the duplicates functionality? Oops. Change duplicate functionality. We need decided to merge the accounts rather than mark them. Please look to best practice. My tokens are. We're going to go ahead and put it in plan mode to do this because I want it to think.
I really love how it shows the criteria. Here's how I'm setting up to identify what the duplicates are using, these 7 or 8 bullets. And so you can see what its thought process is.
Right.
And so you can say, oh, that's great. But also, could you do X, Y, Z? This is good.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like this a lot.
It's still running the name clean, which is fine. We can wait for that while we update the application to do account merges rather than just flagging the duplicates.
Mike, we
Yeah,
had
so
a
again,
question. We had a question in the comments about how
sure,
do you
go for it.
connect this session to your phone, and maybe that's something we do on another
Oh,
webinar. So they
yeah.
were interested about
How
that.
would we connect this to our phone? That's a great question. So this is a feature that Claude has, and it used to be down here, but they just changed it. So, you're on the cutting edge. You have to bleed a little bit. I think you can go.
Is it in co-work now, I think?
You have to go here.
Dispatch.
Is that it? Yeah, here we go.
Yep.
Yep, there it is. Yeah, so you go there, and then would just sign. I would just scan that with my phone. That's how you do it. And then you can see all these sessions.
That's just going to install the app on your phone, right? You could just download the app directly and
It also
authenticate.
links. Correct. You can have, and I do have the app on my phone.
No, you need to pair it. It's not just installing the app.
Yeah, you have to pair it to the sessions. Correct.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
That's good to know.
Okay, so it's going to do the merge. It's going to use the merge account. Oh, perfect. And now it's making the code changes for us. Yeah, on my phone, it says, hey, just pair to the, yeah. Let me tell you that. Yeah, so now it's giving me details on what algorithm I want to use for the deduplication matching. So it's recommending this, which we will go with the exact plus fuzzy. Well, if we wanted something else, let's just say our CRM is like, heavy on addresses, and I could literally just say, no, use the addresses here. And I want a full merge via the API, and I want the richest. Suggest plus allow. Oh, it's suggest. Yeah, we'll allow it to suggest. Okay, let's go. So now it's going to rewrite this thing with our new updates. Boom. While we wait for it to make this round of changes, I did want to talk about a concept that I think is helpful to understand when you're using this kind of tool, and that is apps and scripts, right? So in this case, I've clearly built an app. It has a UI. I want to repeat the actions, or I want to have a UI to have an interactive experience as I use the application. And I may want to reuse it a couple of different times, right? But you could just as easily have Claude like write scripts for you to do one-time actions, and these would be like single-purpose scripts to just do throwaway actions. So, for example, I've used the scripts to actually populate this Salesforce instance. So I have a thread in here with Claude where I have, hey, here's a bunch of Salesforce accounts that I want you to load up into my Salesforce. Write a script, load them up for me, and then because I've had to test this multiple times, I also have a script in here that like deletes them out and reruns them. And so there's no UI, but whenever I want to run the script, I just say, hey, and I ran this morning, rerun the import, and it just ran it for me. All right, looks like the app is ready to go now. Let's run. Let's run. We have to re-put in our API key, which is fine. Bam. Bam. Oh, I don't want you to stop. Okay. I'm gonna play with it. Okay, let me run. Okay. Okay, let me play with it. Let's see if this works. Boom. Okay, let's go. Let's scan. Find duplicates. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, perfect. Okay. I think this worked. And now we're just waiting for it to run. So you can see, like, if it's doing stuff you don't want, just tell stop. It's got something built. And you can kind of see how it built it if you want to read through all that. I'll also let people know that if you have a tool like this and you want to deploy it so that it's always available for your team, there are a bunch of services out there that let you do this. You can use, somebody on here was saying they were using Vercel. You can use Vercel. There's Hosting Error, Railway, Heroku. There's a bunch of options. And there's other things you have to think about when you do that, like authentication and access control. But there are great options for hosting these things if you get something like this. And if we wanted to host it with one of those tools, it would just be the next thing that we would plan with with Claude. We would say, hey, we want to work on hosting. Here's the tool we want to use. Let's package this thing up and host it there. And we would totally be able to do that. Super easy. Okay. Gotta wait for my CRM to be cleaned. Like a CRM cleaning song to play while we clean the CRM here.
Maybe by the next session, I'll figure out the polling and we can have at least a few interesting polling questions.
Yeah.
So
We can. That's okay. That's okay. CRM cleanup is it's a dirty job, but we've got Claude. We've got Claude to do it for us here. All right. Okay. Sweet. All right. Let's go. Let's apply these name changes. All right, perfect. And now we can scan for duplicates. We found 8 duplicates. Let's merge. Go. Push the red button. Is this button not doing anything? Yep. See, sometimes it doesn't work. So what do? Well, we just tell Claude, hey, clicking the merge does not work. Please fix it. Boom.
Does it work better if you say please, Mike?
Well, I feel like, that's what my mom always says, say please. I don't think it actually works better. I do know that if you use foul language, they'll poll you to see if you're having a good experience. Um, oh, that's interesting. Uses a prompt confirm, which gets suppressed in sandboxing. Oh, so if I had loaded, so I could have just as easily loaded this. Oh, interesting. Okay. Yep.
Is it because of the Salesforce
It's because
sandbox?
no, it's because of the sandbox browser. This is a
Oh,
sandbox browser.
I see.
It was prompting. It was popping up a JavaScript modal. That's what it was said it was doing. Let's go. Put in our key. Yeah, really works. Yep. Now, perfect.
So in lieu of a poll, I'd love to hear from those of you that attended, like, what are you doing with Claude, if anything? What would you like to see? What are your goals? Maybe what's sort of like your wish list of being able to, accomplish using Claude Code or Claude Cowork? I'd love to, if any of you could share sort of your thoughts on, you know,
How
what
many
you.
skills, how many skills are applied to this, Mike, Andre?
Yeah, so right now this is using the Tiga CRM skill. So this is just using the one skill right here. And I'm also using the plan mode. That's what I'm using. That is a good question.
And how much effort did it go for you to build that skill?
To build the skill, so the way that, and you can, it's not a total secret. Like you can build skills by going through this process of building this application without the skill. There's a lot more prompting that you have to do from, like, with Claude, like, hey, change this, change that, do this, do that. You have to guide it a lot more manually. But once you have a skill, once you have a session where you're like, okay, I did it successfully, you tell Claude, make this session into a skill, and it does it for you. And then you can then say, okay, now I can do things that fit that pattern, and we'll be successful with them with a lot less prompting. Does that make sense?
Oh, makes total
Yeah.
sense.
But we will be providing a set of skills that correspond to, just like the most common go-to-market motions. That's really what we're
Yeah.
building right now.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of other skills as well. I mean, they have skills for, like, design and front end work and stuff like that. So if you wanted to design something, or there's all kinds of skills out there. So it's very cool. Let's get our app back. So I can open this on my browser on my local machine as well. It's just running. I like to run it in this window though, because you can see the logs. So, but it's just the same thing, as you can see. So, okay. I mean, we can wait for this to load and see how it did on the. We wanted to merge those duplicates, right? That's the last thing to do. Yeah, to finish cleaning up the CRM. So we have to wait for this to run again. I believe when this runs, that'll be it. And then if there's any other questions that folks have. I don't know, Andre, if you wanted to.
Yeah, sorry, just maybe,
About 15 minutes left here.
yeah, maybe go to the last slide. I just wanted to
Sure.
a couple of things here. Yeah, so our next session is on May 8th. We would, if you enjoyed this, we would love it if you just tell other folks. Like I said, this is educational. We're really trying to help you understand how to use Claude Code, Claude Cowork at a detailed hands-on level, and also sort of start to hopefully build a little bit of a community of people who are interested in that and leveraging that. Our next session, we're thinking of two different use cases. One is automating your inbound, um, or the other is sort of the people on the move, uh, the people on the move example. And so, if you have a preference, let us know. If you have other ideas and thoughts about what you'd like to see, our goal is to show you the things and teach you and hopefully, collaborate with you on gaining competency around using these AI agents for your go-to-market workflow. So let us know, and we'd love to hear it. And then finally, join our Slack channel. All the content for every session will be the recordings will all be posted there. We'll have other content as well, and it's also a place that you can, if you have ideas or you're trying to do something and you're running into some trouble, and you just like someone to help you think through that, we're there to help you. So feel free to join, and then it's a place you can ask us questions and that kind of thing.